What's up, everybody? Andrew Kibler back with the talk with Andrew Kibler. I'm here, the special guest host, Big Mike.
Hey guys.
We're here to talk about how it is to be a student athlete in college. Both of us are dual sport athletes. I play football and tennis. Mike.
I play football and I also do track and field. I am a thrower on the track team.
So we're just here to introduce what we think of it, how the schedule is, how fun it is, and then we'll talk about some hot topics in the world about it. But before that, got a question for people. You can comment this down below. Do you think college athletes should get paid? Not specifically the division, but do you think they should get paid? All right, and we're back. We'll start with football. Both of us football players. So our football schedule, we get here 3 weeks early for camp. What are your thoughts on camp?
Camp is very hard. It really tests who you are as a person. It really tests your limits, I guess. It's probably one of the hardest things you can do leading up. I mean, I haven't done much things that are harder than camp week, especially just being away from home, especially if you're a first year. Um, and just getting all that from like 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day, it kind of gets to you. But it definitely does help a lot. It definitely is a grind. But once you get through it, you'll be thankful that you did.
Now, this is why I brought another person on because from my camp experience is much different from him. He is an offensive lineman. I'm a kicker. So my camp experience is not as serious as his. I mean, yes, I take it seriously because I want to keep my starting position and I want to do good this season, but I mean, I don't really have meetings. My meetings last 2 minutes. Other than that, I'm good. But camp is definitely different, especially for first years. For me, last year coming from Florida up to Indiana, first years away from family and stuff like that, it was hard. Talk to my parents on the phone every day, but now it's just like I talk to them once a week, and I'm fine with that. Now, our season for football, we have practice every day, Tuesday through Friday. Friday's a walkthrough. Monday is more of a film slash practice, and then we have games on Saturdays. I don't really think it's too much. I
It's
think
not bad at all,
I think
actually.
it's fine. We have two weightlifting sessions, Tuesday and Thursday mornings. The toughest part about those is waking up for it. We have weights at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., or 8 a.m. I always get lucky with the 8 a.m. He gets stuck with the 6 a.m.
Yes.
But other than that, it's really not that bad. It's real exciting. I love playing college football. I mean, at some points, I just kind of want it to end because it's the cold weather, not necessarily football. But I love it. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't playing it.
Probably same. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things that you have to go through in order to get to this point, but once the season starts and once you get going and get on a roll, it's actually really fun and really enjoyable.
I think the schedule helps. Without the schedule, we're kind of lost up here. Some campuses are different. Ours campus, you have to drive everywhere if you want to do something. So with having football in it really helps because of the schedule. Now we're going to talk about our spring sports. I play tennis. He plays track and field, plays throws, same thing. But for tennis, very laid back compared to football. I mean, I have to be in much better shape to be a tennis player than a kicker. I mean, giving myself a little lean way there, but I still have to. I have to be more agile and more conditioned to be a tennis player than a kicker. So that aspect, don't like the running, but you know what? Tennis is fun. Up here, it's still kind of cold for the first half of season, so that's kind of a bummer. But it's really not that bad. I enjoy it. The away trips are really fun. We stop. We get some food after the matches, and it's really fun experience. And if you have a good group of friends out there or a good team, I think you really enjoy it. Without track.
With track, it's definitely a weird transition going from being outside in the freezing that you are with football because near the end of the season it gets super cold to every practice is inside for track for the most part because you start with indoor and then once it starts getting warmer you transition to outdoor and it just kind of have your practices weightlifting if you're a thrower anyway. You do some core, you obviously throw with the facilities and everything. We normally just throw in the gym or in anywhere inside that we can find really. And then once we transition to outdoor, We start throwing outdoors. It gets a little more lenient. We start having our own, like, once you finish, you're done. During indoor season, it's a little harder because we normally do 2 practices because we're battling for gym space with the basketball team and everything. So we'll have an earlier practice where we lift, and then a later practice where we'll throw and work on technique. But other than that, track is a pretty fun sport. There's a lot of cool people in it, and it's probably one of my favorite things to do here.
So, before we move on to the hot topics, I do want to mention that the indoor track is big, and outdoor track and outdoor spring is just big because Indiana weather is different. I mean, right now it's the second week of November, and there's a couple inches of snow on the ground just today. But by the end of this week, it's supposed to be in the 40s and with no
Hopefully it
snow.
melts.
Yeah, hopefully it melts. We still got a game of football left, so. But other than that, let's move on to the hot topics. All right, hot topics. We're going with a couple questions here. We're just gonna ask each other what we think. Student athletes, should we be paid?
I think to an extent, we should definitely be helped out financially. I don't believe maybe at the Division One level, obviously people should be paid because they work very hard. An injury could occur, and they don't. I mean, there's many athletes at the Division One level that are relying on the pay from the NFL, and that's why they leave early. I feel as though if they were being paid in college, you would have more people staying for their senior year. Injuries wouldn't matter as much because you're already getting paid, and you have time to get back into it. Now, at lower levels of college football, Division Two, Division Three, I feel as though maybe like financially helped out, make some things cheaper, other things like that, but like just specifically getting paid, it would be hard to tell who would get paid and who wouldn't, and it would be hard to make the policies to cover that, I guess.
I think D1 athletes should get paid if they're like obviously I'm a North Carolina fan, but I don't like Duke, but Zion Williamson could have made a lot of money off of his jersey sales alone or his merchandise alone. So I think big people like that, yes, for sure. Like that should be a rule. They should be allowed to make money. But Division 3, it's kind of hard to pay people for Division 3. Like you can't have one team, like it would have to be everybody makes the same amount, or I think what they should do is if they do Division 1, Division 2, they can pay them if they want, if they make money off them. But Division 3, we're not allowed athletic scholarships, so put that towards an athletic scholarship. Because they could get a lot more recruits that way. It would just be easier than having to figure out who to pay and stuff like that.
I also feel like one downside would be like figuring out who to pay exactly, because there are huge names, especially in the Division One level, that you know they're going to the league, and you know everyone you ask around the nation, they're gonna know that name. Zion being one of them that he said earlier, and like, how do you pay him compared to a sixth man on the basketball team, or how do you pay the star quarterback compared to like an offensive lineman or someone that isn't talked about as much? That both feel like they're doing the same amount, both have a lot of responsibility towards the team, but I think it would kind of start separating people to start playing for themselves instead of for the team, and I don't know how well that would go over.
Yeah, and also I don't know if different schools can pay different amounts, if that's how it's going to be, or if it's going to be based through the NCAA. Like, will it be paid through them or paid through the school?
Yeah.
Because obviously, Miami is going to make their athletes going to make more money than William and Mary. Next topic should Division III athletics have a scholarship? Why and why not? Why or why not?
I feel like there should be some sort of compensation there, just because we're not. I feel like legally we aren't allowed to do as much as Division I, Division II athletes, but we are still doing a lot more than we did at the high school level. And we are still putting, I would say,
our bodies on the line.
Yeah, and we're putting most of our day towards football, whether it's watching film, lifting, practicing, everything. And we're kind of changing our lifestyles for that. And the Division III level is very unique because people are doing it strictly because they love football. And there's a lot of kids that don't get that opportunity because it's very expensive, especially at the Division III level. There's a lot of private schools. It's very expensive to afford college. The athletic scholarship would not only boost the amount of recruits you get in, but boost the number of people that get to enjoy football for another 4 or so years because of the money.
I just think Division III schools are more expensive than Division I, Division II, and I think with that scholarship it would help get so many different people in. Obviously, you can't give everybody a scholarship. It's just like Division I, Division II. You can give it to certain people, but if you're getting recruited hard enough, you're going to get a scholarship, and there's those people that cannot afford it. They cannot afford to go to school there, and it's tough, and that scholarship would really help them and their families financially and could help them towards a diploma and then a job. That's all for the talk today. Once again, thank you to Big Mike.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Next week, stay tuned for our next episode, and make sure you answer the debate below whether or not student athletes should be paid. And that's all from me today. Peace out.
Getting jiggy with it.